We are in the fourth session. So far, we have completed the introduction part. Then we completed the individual income tax return filing. Under that, we have discussed two. That means simplified return filing, standard individual income tax return filing, and the partnership tax return filing. Those are the area we have covered so far. Any questions refers to the previous sessions? I mean, refers to the tax registration, individual income tax return filing, and the partnership tax return filing. So you can ask, right? So while I'm talking, if you do have a question regarding to that area, you can ask, right? So meantime, let me summarize some of the important facts, right? So basically, what we need for the return filing, basically we need we have to register for the TIN, then we have to register for the particular tax type. If it is, if the person is individual, right? Basically that individual has to register for the individual income tax type, right? But in addition to that, if he do have his own business, right? His proprietorship business, right? In that case, if we exceed the relevant threshold amount, right? That person need to register for the other tax types. Sometimes maybe VAT, and sometimes maybe SSCL as well, right? So according to the threshold and the revenue of the business, right? That person need to register for that particular tax type as well, even though he's an individual taxpayer. When it comes to the partnership, partnership has to register for the partnership tax type, and maybe necessary to register for the value-added tax, sometimes for the APIT as well, depend on the size of this partnership, and the withholding sometimes, and VAT and SSCL may be relevant, right, based on the activity and based on the threshold. When it comes to the corporate, that means maybe private limited company or maybe even the PLC, right? They need to register for basically corporate income tax and APIT, withholding tax, value-added tax, and the SSCL as well, right? So again, even for the corporate, they have to exceed, the revenue has to more than the threshold value, right, for the VAT and SSCL registration. So then when it comes to the return filing, right? Return filing can be, it can start once the Inland Revenue issue the return, right? So before Inland Revenue issue the return, no one can submit the return. So the for the return filing, right? The other very important requirement is return has to be issued by the IRB, right? Once the return issued by the IRB, thereafter the registered person, the person who registered for that particular tax type can submit the return. The technical side, what is the difference between the individual income tax return filing and the corporate tax return filing? The basic difference is in individual income tax, right? The taxpayer, in case taxpayer do have TIN and PIN, right? Using that TIN and PIN, taxpayer can log into the system and can access to the return and can submit the return, right? The difference is, right, when it comes to the partnership and when it comes to the corporate income tax, it is bit different to the individual income tax and big difference to the individual. Why I'm saying that, right? So if you are a partnership or if you are a private limited company or if you are a company, right, you need to have a separate special staff identification numbers. That means we call SSID. You need to have SSID, right? So by just logging into the system, your company PIN and TIN, right? You cannot access to the return, right? To the return access always comes with the SSID and the SSID password. Therefore, first of all, what you have to do if you are a company or if you are a partnership, right? First of all, you have to log into the system, your company PIN and company PIN, right? Maybe director, maybe president, partner, whatever the relevant officer can do this, right? Once that officer log into the RAMIS system using those two, right? What he has to do is he has to make a request for the SSID, right? It can in that particular request, someone can request up to 2 to 20 SSIDs, right? Once the SSID request has been made by the taxpayer, right? Then IRD will issue the SSID. So the number may be vary, right? So if the request is 5, there will be a 5, right? So each SSID do have separate PIN, right? The IRD will issue the SSID with the separate PIN number. Then thereafter the next process is SSID authorization, right? Once the SSID received from the IRD, right? One of that key officer has to log again using the company TIN and PIN, and he has to allocate, or we can say he has to authorize particular SSID for particular function, maybe for the corporate income tax return filing, and or maybe for the corporate income tax return approval. Likewise, maybe for the value-added tax return filing, value-added tax return approval, withholding tax return filing, withholding tax return approval. So likewise, right? So now let me share my screen. So I will show you. I think I can remember I have shown this SSID authorization even during the last session under the partnership, right? So now I am again showing you how to do this SSID authorization, right? Any questions up to this point? Okay, let's move to the SSID authorization video. So, but meanwhile, if you do have questions, you can stop me at any time and you can ask the questions. Okay, so first what you have to do, you have to log into the system, right? Using your company or the partnership TIN and PIN, right? So now here, this is the screen where the officer in the dashboard using the company PIN and TIN, right? So then to authorize the staff, what he has to do, he has to move the cursor to this authorization, right? Once he move the cursor on the authorization, there will be that kind of drop down right here, as you can see here, right? you can do through this authorization option, right? So before create the staff authorization, I just go through the others, right? Here is the request SSID. Through this hyperlink, you can request the SSID. And even you can change the staff password. That means you can change the SSID password. You can authorize the tax agent as well, right? So you can authorize staff for the client, right? And you can view the company authorization, and even you can view the tax agent authorization as well, right? So this system provides a lot of options on this area, right? So now assume we have made a request for the SSID, and based on our request, IRD has been issued SSID. Now we do have that SSID. So what I'm going to do is authorize those SSID for the different functions. We
මුකුත් පේන්නේ නැහැ නේද?
share වෙලා නැද්ද screen එක?
ස්ක්‍රීන් එක මුකුත් පේන්නේ නැහැ සවුන්ඩ්ස් විතරයි.
1 second, right? So give me 1 second. Hope now you can see. Okay, we'll try to explain in both language, right? So since there are some participant who can understand the Sinhala, I try to use both this language, right? So basically we conduct this in English language while conducting this in English. I'll try my best to explain the things in Sinhala as well. Okay, thank you for that notice. Is my screen shared with you all? Hope you can see my screen now. Is it? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, okay. Okay, here we are, right? This is the screen where you can see once you log into the system using the company TIN and PIN, right? So here is the authorization option, right? So once you click on this authorization, there will be a drop down like this, right? From this drop down, right? Now you have to select the create staff authorization. We'll see how to do this. Create staff authorization. Okay, right. So then you will be moved to this kind of UI. Here, now here you have to enter the SSID, right? We'll see. Here, this is the SSID letter issued by the Inland Revenue, right? This is one of the sample one, right? So it will be like this, right? Here in this case, that particular company or the partnership has requested only two SSIDs, right? So accordingly, IRB has issued two SSIDs with the particular password, right? This is SSID 1 and this is SSID 2, right? And for the second SSID. So we'll see the rest. And I have to say that these are not the real data, right? So these are the test data, right? What you have to do, you have to enter the one SSID, special staff identification number, right? And then you have to click the search button. And other thing is instructions also there. Here it says, please enter the detail of the staff whom you intended to authorize and then click the search, right? So let me show it. Okay, so this is the history refers to this particular SSID. So as you can see here, this SSID has been already allocated for the corporate income tax type as approver, right here, effective from this date onward, right, up to this date, it has been allocated for this particular role, approver role, right? So, but even this SSID has been already allocated as a corporate income tax return approver, it can be used for the different tax type for the different role. Maybe for the value added tax, this SSID can be authorized as the preparer, right? It is possible, but here in this case, this SSID has been already authorized as the approver for the corporate income tax type. Here in this case, it shows only corporate income tax and value added tax because this company has registered only for those two tax types, right? If company registered for other tax types as well, so you can see other tax types in this user interface, right? So we go for the next SSID. Copy it, and again, we're going to check it and assign search. It has been this SSID also already authorized as a preparer for the corporate income tax type. So in order to start the corporate income tax return filing, we have to log to the system using this particular SSID, not the SSID authorized as the approver, right? So the return will be available for the preparer. Therefore, in order to start the corporate income tax return filing, we have to log into the system this particular SSID, right? මෙතෙන්දී මේ SSID වල වැදගත්කම කියනවා නම් ඇත්තටම මේ corporate income tax ඒව නැත්නම් partnership income tax වලට එනකොට ඒ රිටර්න් එක ෆයිල් කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ SSID එකෙන් සිස්ටම් එකට ලොග් වුණොත් විතරයි. ඒක අර කම්පැනි ටින් එකනුයි පින් එකනුයි සිස්ටම් එකට ලොග් වුණාට රිටර්න් එකට ඇක්සස් කරන්න බෑ. රිටර්න් එකට ඇක්සස් කරන්න නම් SSID through log වෙන්න ඕනි. එතකොට SSID through log වෙන්න පළවෙනියෙන්ම කරන්න ඕනේ අර corporate team එක pin එක use කරලා SSID request කරන්න ඕනේ. අර ඒ request කරපු letter එක තමයි අර තිබ්බේ. request කරපු letter එක නෙමෙයි අතරම request එකකට මේ reply එකක් විදිහට inland revenue එක issue කරපු SSID ඊට පස්සේ ඒ SSID අපි authorize කරගන්න ඕනේ. එතනට අපි යන්නේ අර මේ authorization ගිහිල්ලා authorization හරහා අපි යනවා staff authorization, create staff authorization හරහා ගිහිල්ලා අපිට පුළුවන් එක SSID එක role එකට authorize කරගන්න. ඊ වගේම තමයි දැන් එක tax type එක prepare විදිහට authorize කරපු SSID එක තවත් tax type එක approve විදිහට authorize කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? එහෙම ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. Okay, we'll move forward. So now I'm showing, so this person is logging to the system, right? Using the SSID. For that purpose, we have to use the company business tax matter, right? So now SSID. Now first we have to enter the SSID. Here, this one. So this is the one we have authorized as a preparer. Therefore, first we have to log into the system using that particular SSID. Then you have to enter the PIN for the SSID issued by the Inland Revenue, right? Again, we have to move to that letter and we can copy that SSID from this letter, right? This is the original password for this particular SSID. At the first time logging, we have to use this password, right? Then we have to enter the company TIN. The TIN is company TIN, right? So now the company TIN, or maybe even partnership TIN, if it is a partnership, right? Then the capture. Then login. This process is applicable for the corporate income tax, value-added tax, partnership tax, and the even withholding and pay APIT returns as well, right? You need to have a PIN. Sorry, you need to have the SSID. You have to log into the system using this SSID. Now you can see, we'll see, right here, the earlier case, right? So one. Earlier case, it shows here, right? Okay. Right. Here you can see earlier case, it shows the TIN, right? Company TIN, because we log into the system using the company TIN, right? So in order to authorize this stuff, we log to the system using the company TIN. Therefore, the TIN was there. So now we have logged into the system using the SSID. Once the person log into the system through the SSID, right? So you can see the SSID here, not the TIN, right? This is not the company TIN. This is the SSID of this particular user, right? Okay, so now we'll move forward from this point, right? You can use the icons as well as you can use the taskbar. It's up to the taxpayer, right? Taxpayer can decide whether he's going to use the taskbar or whether he's going to use the icon, right? So the same data will be available under both these options, right? So this is tax return filing summary, account summary, clearance status, everything can be checked, right? Corporate income tax. Right, this is the corporate income tax return filing summary. Here still do I have 23, 24 one because 24, 25 one has not yet released, right? So the status is new. That means no data has been entered up to now to this particular corporate income tax return. First, what we have to do is we have to select the year of assessment, and then we have to proceed, right? So this is the corporate income tax return opening page, right? So before moving to the corporate income tax return filing, let me introduce the corporate income tax return structure, right? So I will share the corporate income tax return structure. It contains main return with the declaration, and then thereafter there are schedules. Schedules has been categorized into two parts as part A and part B, right? Part A basically mostly we can say mostly we can say some sort of compulsory schedules, right? Part B contains the some optional schedules that can be used for the purpose of preparation of financial statement, right? So that is the structure. Here is the main return, right? This is the main return, right? So other thing is this will be the return for the companies, public corporations, club and societies, NGOs, charitable institutions, funds, trust, and even for the unit trust. The same return for all these entities, all these persons, right? So here first you have to tick whether you are a company, public corporation, club, NGO, whatever it is, right? And then this is the printed version, right? So, but do you know who can submit the corporate income tax return in the mode of with the using the mode of printed format? Who can submit? Any idea? Still, right? Certain entities, certain persons can submit the corporate income tax return, right? Using the printed format. Who are eligible to submit the return through this printed format? Any idea? No idea? Basically companies, right? Companies has to submit the return only through the online platform, right? Other than companies, right? So public corporation, clubs, NGOs, charitable institutions, and they are eligible to submit the return in the paper format as well, right? But if they wish, they can submit through the online platform, but still they can submit through the printed format, right? So this is the structure of printed format. The same structure will be available under the e-filing platform as well, right? This is something similar to the individual income tax return, as you can see here, right? First, you have to disclose the income from the source of business, investment, and other. And here you have to disclose the exempted amount, right? And the total assessable income. Then you can deduct the qualifying payment assessable income, right? Here there is no relief like individual income tax return, right? The company do have only qualifying payment, right? Once the qualifying payment deducted from the assessable income, it will be the taxable income, right? Then the tax calculation part, that means actually the application of tax rate on the taxable income, right? This part was available in the individual income tax return as well, right? So what we have to do is we have to apply the tax rates on the taxable income, right? Then we calculate the total tax liability, right? Total tax payable, and then we allow the credit against the tax liability, right? So once the credit allowed against the tax liability, right, the result will be balance payable amount or the refund amount. It's based on the liability and amount of credit, right? So actually this structure is somewhat similar to the individual income tax return, but the schedules are different, right? So main return is not identical, but somewhat similar. But schedules are actually different from the individual income tax returns to the corporate income tax return, right? So those schedules up to this schedule 7, schedule 1 to schedule 7 comes under the part A of the schedules, right? Those are somehow mandatory schedules. Not the all, but some are mandatory schedules. Then the part B contains those 3 schedules, schedule 8, schedule 9, and schedule 10, right? It is not compulsory. Instead of filling the schedule 8, 9, and 10, right, what taxpayer can do is the 10 is applicable, right? But instead of filling the schedule 8 and 9, what taxpayer can do is taxpayer can submit their own financial statements as well, right? මේක තමයි corporate income tax return එකේ structure එක. ඇත්තටම මේ corporate income tax return එකේ structure එක ගත්තාම මේක කොටස් තුනක් තියෙනවා. main return එක, schedules තියෙනවා. schedules කොටස් දෙකකින් සමන්විතයි. part A සහ part B විදිහට. එතකොට main return එක ගත්තාම main return එකේ structure එක ගොඩක් දුරට individual income tax return එක. මොකද ඒක අපිට දැන් පොඩ්ඩක් familiar හින්දා අපි ඒක කලින් discuss කරපු හින්දා මේක සමස්තයක් විදිහට ගත්තාම individual income tax return එකේ structure එකට සමානයි. මුලින්ම source wise assessable income එක calculate කරනවා. source wise assessable income එක calculate කරලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒකෙන් අපි අඩු කරනවා qualifying payment. මොකද මේ corporate income tax වලදී අපිට qualifying payment විතරයි අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? එකෙන් අපි qualifying payment අඩු කළා ඊට පස්සේ අපි හොයනවා taxable income එක. මේ taxable income එක මේ මෙතනට වෙනකන් ඇත්තටම ගත්තොත් individual income tax return එකේ බොහෝ දුරට සමානයි. වෙනස්කමකට තියෙන්නේ individual income tax return එකේ qualifying payments වලට අමතරව relief අඩු කරනවා. මෙතෙන්දී ඇත්තටම එහෙම relief අඩු කිරීමක් අදාළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. relief නැහැ අතම corporate income tax return එකේ ඔය relief අඩු මෙතනදී තියෙන qualifying payment විතරයි. ඒතර qualifying payment අඩු කරලා අපි taxable income එක calculate කරනවා. taxable income එක calculate කළාට පස්සේ අපි ඒ taxable income එක අනුව tax එක calculate කරනවා අදාළ rates පාවිච්චි කරලා, right? ඒක වෙන්නේ මේ කොටසෙන්, right? schedule 4 තමයි අපි ඒකට use කරන්නේ 4 and 5. ඊළඟට schedule 6 and 7 තියෙන්නේ අතරම tax credit වලට අදාළව. මේ schedule 6 තියෙන්නේ final withholding tax credit වලට අදාළව. සහ schedule 7 අතරම credit schedule එක එතන ඔය non final withholding tax වලට අදාළ schedule එකකුත් තියෙනවා, right? ඊට අමතරව මෙන්න මේ කොටස තියෙනවා schedules වල part B විදිහට. මේ කොටසේ තියෙන්නේ අතරම මේ financial statement වලට අදාළ detail. ඒක optional. එතන මේ කියන්නේ මේ company එකට නැත්නම් මේ corporate එකට මේ entity එකට decide කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ financial statement මේ format එකෙන් දෙනවද නැත්නම් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් යාලා හදන අර සාමාන්‍ය financial statement submit කරනවද කියන එක, right? මේක තමයි එතකොට main return එක. ඊට පස්සේ මෙතනින් පස්සේ තියෙනවා the declaration already almost same as the corporate income tax return declaration, right? Thing is here the designation is there, right? The person has to declare the designation of the declarant, right? And then let me show you the schedules, right? This is the individual income tax return main schedule, right? So let me show the part A of the schedules. this is little bit complex, right? This return is bit complicated one with compared to the individual income tax return, especially these schedules, right? Not the main return, but the schedules to the return of income is bit complex with compared to the corporate with compared to the individual income tax return schedule, right? Here the schedule 1 for the exempt and exempt gain and exempt losses, right? And schedule 2 to disclose the summary of assessable income, right? And summary of investment and summary of the assessable income from other sources. And 2B to disclose the loss deduction summary and loss deduction detail. In case company or the entity do have brought forward loss or the current year loss, right? That loss can be deducted against the profit, right? So such detail has to be disclosed under the schedule 2B, right? Then qualifying payment related detail has to be entered under the schedule 3, right? The tax on taxable income, that means tax rate application, as we discussed earlier, right? Tax rate application, we have to declare the way we apply the tax rate on the taxable income through the schedule 4. Then schedule 5, the tax remittance. If company do have remittance, that remittance has to be disclosed under the schedule 5, right? Schedule 6 is the final withholding tax related details. Schedule 7, tax credit. Schedule 7A, balance tax payable amount, and schedule 7B, breakup of the withholding tax credit claim, right? And then the other 3 schedules, schedule 8, tax computation, schedule 9, financial information, and schedule 10 is the foreign currency remittance amount, right? So this is it, right? So if you just go through it, if you are not very much familiar with this return, you may feel it bit complex, right? So, but while we are entering data to this return, it will be somewhat familiar, and you will be have some idea what kind of data that we need to fill, and how we need to fill those details, right? But at once it may be little complex because this return structure is bit complex. So see, there are a lot of details and a lot of cages, right? This is the loss related information. Then this qualifying payment related information. Different qualifying payment, and then the tax calculation, right? And then this is the remittance data, right? Then the receipt of grant, donation, and kind of detail. Some of these schedules are not applicable, right? So in that case, even though this return seems to be a bit complex, right? During the through this e-filing platform, what we can do is we can just disable the schedules which are not relevant to that organization. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි මේක ඇත්තටම බැලුවට කම්ප්ලෙක්ස් වගේ තමයි පේන්නේ නේද මේ රිටර්න් එක ඇත්තටම අර ඉන්ඩිවිජුවල් ඉන්කම් ටැක්ස් රිටර්න් එකත් එක්ක කම්පෙයාර් කරලා බැලුවොත් මේ කම්ප්ලෙක්ස් වගේ පේන්නේ. හැබැයි එහෙම තිබ්බට මේ ෂෙඩියුල්ස් වල වලින් යම් කිසි ෂෙඩියුල් එකක් දැන් මොකක් හරි එන්ටිටි එකකට මොකක් හරි බිස්නස් එකකට අදාළ නැත්තම්, උදාහරණයකට කියනවා නම් ඒ බිස්නස් එකට ලොස් එකක් නැහැ. බ්‍රෝඩ් ෆෝවර්ඩ් කරපු ලොස් එකක්වත් නැහැ. එහෙම වුණොත් අර schedule 2B අදාළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට අපි මේකේ qualifying page එකක් තියෙනවා. qualifying page එකේදී අපිට කිව්ව හැකි schedule 2B අදාළ නැහැ. schedule 2B අපිට disable කරා. ඒකට අපිට schedule 2B පෙන්වන්නේවත් නැහැ. ඒ විදිහට මේක පොඩ්ඩක් මේක complex වුණාට මේ e platform එකේදී නැත්නම් premise එකේ online මේක feel කරන්න යනකොට අපිට මේකේ complexity එක පොඩ්ඩක් අඩු කරගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි ඒක බලමු. right? මේ විදිහට තමයි මේ part A තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම part B තියෙනවා. මේ තියෙන්නේ part B. part B අතරම මේ profit and loss account එක තමයි මෙතන basically තියෙන්නේ. right? ඊළඟට මේ financial information තියෙනවා schedule 9 හරහා. right? මේ විදිහට තමයි corporate income tax return එක ඒ අදාළ කොටස් ටික වෙන්නේ. right? okay. So any questions or any suggestions, any ideas? corporate income tax return එකත් එක්ක මේ වැඩ කරපු කවුරු හරි මෙතන ඉන්නවද? Is there anyone who worked with the corporate income tax return? So if anyone is there, his or her experience will be helpful us to develop this. Is there anyone who worked with the corporate income tax return? I work means fill the return as a preparer or even work with this return as an approver. No one work with the corporate income tax return here. කවුරුත්ම මේ corporate income tax return එක fill කරන්න ඒ කියන්නේ prepare විදියට හරි නැත්නම් approve විදියට හරි සම්බන්ධ වෙලා නැද්ද මේ වෙනකම්? Okay, seems to be no one here. So let me introduce one by one, right? So start from here, right? So now this person has logged into the system as a preparer using the preparer SSID, right? And see what he can do, right? So actually this is in the draft mode, right? So here is the draft, right? So now it's become the return status become a new, right? So we proceed with the new return. Okay, first we have to say, right, whether this entity is a resident entity or the non-resident entity, right? Then we have to say whether this entity is a company, public corporation, club or society, NGO, charitable institution, fund, trust, or unit trust, right? The relevant one has to tick here, right? We'll see. And there are info buttons as well, right? So once you move to the cursor on this info button, you can have some additional information here. Just show you. You can have some additional information. Here it says e-filing is mandatory for companies incorporated in or outside Sri Lanka for for public corporation, right? Those two need to submit the return through this e-platform, right? it's a company, and this is the qualifying page, right? Qualifying condition for. Hello. Sorry, for some reason I have lost my connection, so I am back. Let me share my screen again very soon, right? So, okay. Hope now you can hear me and you can see my screen. Can I have any feedback? Can you hear me? Hello. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
So I think I lost my connection once I started this qualifying conditions. Am I correct? මේ qualifying condition discuss කරන්න ගත්තාම තමයි මම හිතන්නේ connection එක loss උනේ කියලා. ඒ වෙලාවේද so okay, so let me start from this qualifying condition, right? So as I told earlier here, there's an option taxpayer can make this return bit simple, right? So how he can make this return a little bit simple? He can just skip the unnecessary schedules, right? If particular schedules is not relevant to his business, right? What he can do is he can just skip this. That means he can just disable that return through this section, right? So the taxpayer has to say whether the tax exemption schedule is applicable. If yes, it will be visible and he can enter the data. Likewise, taxpayer has to say whether the business, the loss schedule is applicable, whether the investment loss schedule is applicable, whether the foreign source loss schedule is applicable, right? If applicable, he has to say yes, and then he can enter the data. If not applicable, he has to say no, then those schedules will be disabled to this particular taxpayer, and as a result, the, the return structure will be a bit simple, right? So, but some schedules are mandatory. That means some schedules are compulsory schedules, right? Schedule 2 is the compulsory schedule. That means schedule 2 is the schedule where taxpayer has to disclose the assessable income from the business, investment and other, right? It is compulsory. But the loss schedule is not the compulsory, right? And likewise, taxpayer has to say whether the qualifying payment schedules is needed, whether the remittance schedules is needed or not, right? So whether the final withholding tax schedules and payment and grant donation and kind of thing is needed or not, right? Whether the company do have balance tax payable or not, whether that schedules is needed or not, whether the company has any withholding tax credit, right? If it is yes, the taxpayer has to say yes here. If there's no withholding tax credit to claim, taxpayer can say no, and then that part will be disabled to that particular taxpayer. Likewise, even though this return is complicated, taxpayer can make it somehow simple through this qualifying condition, right? මේ qualifying condition වල අදහස තමයි මම අර ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා වගේ මේ return එක ටිකක් complicated එකක්. මේ return එක complicated එකක් වුණාට මෙන්න මේ qualifying condition කොටස හරහා taxpayer ට පුළුවන් මේ return එක ටිකක් simple කරගන්න. So explain not clear. So okay, so what I want to tell you here, right? This section, right? This qualifying condition section is very important, right? Through this section, what taxpayer can do is, right? Taxpayer can disable certain part of this return, right? Taxpayer can disable means actually taxpayer can skip certain parts of this return, right? So he can just enter the data, or he can just uh, just the taxpayer can actually taxpayer can disable and skip the certain part of this return. So let me show it, right? So instead of explaining it again and again, let me show it, right, by doing this, right? So here you can see it's a company and resident company. Then we are going to select. We say yes for the all, right? And we'll see the structure of the return, right? We say the yes, everything is applicable to our entity. So we'll see the structure. Okay, so this is the main return, right? So you can see all the schedules are enabled, right? We can access to all the schedules because we say yes for the all those schedules, right? So let me open schedule 2, right? So here all these 10 schedules are enabled, right? Let me open the schedule 2. Here is the schedule 2. Schedule 2 is the compulsory schedule. It's a mandatory schedules, right? Now you can see schedule 2B also enable because we say yes for the loss schedule. This is the loss schedule, right? Can you see the complexity of this particular loss schedule? If loss is not there, right? In this, if our entity do not have any loss to declare, right? What we can do is just to skip this schedule, we have to say no for the schedule 2B at the qualifying payment, right? Sorry, at the qualifying page. මේ schedule 2B එක අපි බැලුවා දැන් මේ අපිට මේක enable වෙලා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි අපිට qualifying මේ losses නැත්තම් අපිට loss declare කරන්න loss disclose කරන්න නැත්තම් අපිට පුළුවන් අර qualifying page එකේ ඒ schedule 2B අපිට අදාළ නැහැ කියලා එන්න. එහෙම ආවනම් ඔය මේ loss schedule එක අපිට පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ. අපි දැන් ආයි යනවා මේ අර qualifying page එකට. qualifying page එකට ගිහිල්ලා අපි දැන් මේ සමහර schedules අපි disable කරනවා. We are saying those schedules are not applicable for us, right? So we say no for the 2 schedules. So now we'll see schedule 2 is still anyhow schedule 2 is applicable. It's a compulsory schedule, right? So even loss schedules is still visible because we didn't say no for the losses, right? We say yes for the losses, right? As you can see here, there are basically 3 parts, right? Losses from the business, losses from the investment, and losses from the losses. So schedule 5, it is disabled because we said it is not applicable, right? Right. අපිට ඕනනම් ආයි දැන් තවත් මේක සිම්ප්ලිෆයි කරගන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට තවත් schedules ඕන නැත්තම් අපිට ආයිත් ඇවිල්ලා right අපිට මේ summary එකට ඇවිල්ලා අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් සමහර schedules වලට no කියලා. දැන් අපි schedules දෙකයි no කිව්වේ. ඒ no කියපු ඕනනම් අපිට years කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. right? ඊට අමතරව වෙන schedule එකක් අපිට no කියලා අපිට disable කරගන්න පුළුවන්. right? එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට ආපහු full return එක full schedules එක return එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. So what I want to highlight here, so you can continuously do this changes while you are entering data to this return. Continuously you can change, you can yes for some schedules and you can say again no for that particular schedules as well. It is possible, right? So during the return filing process, you can make this return simple or you can make this return bit complicated by saying yes for the all the schedules. මම මේ තාම data enter කරන process එකට ගියේ නැහැ. මම තාම කරන්නේ මේ return එක adjust කරගන්න විදිය පේනවා. How to adjust? අපිට මේ return එකට කොටස් එකතු කරන එක සහ return එකෙන් කොටස් අයින් කරන එක continuously කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක තමයි තාම මේ පෙන්නන්නේ. Then other important thing is before you start this process, you have to calculate the accessible income from the business and you have to calculate the accessible income from the investment and you have to have an idea what are the relevant losses that we can deduct from the business income, what are the relevant losses that we can deduct from the investment income, what are the relevant losses that we can deduct against the foreign source of income and kind of thing. You need to have that idea. You have to come to this point with this calculations and with these details, right? So if you here also you can move among the schedules using the hyperlinks or as using the next button, right? But if you wish to use the next button, you have to say yes or no for this schedule 8, 9, and 10, right? So here I just say yes, right? So then once I click the next button from the main return, you will be directly moved to the declaration, not like the England, not like the IIT declaration at the end of the asset and liability statement. Here, soon after you click the next button from the main return, you will be navigated to the declaration page. Here, the declaration page structure is somewhat similar to the individual income tax. There are part A and part B. Part A to disclose the applicable, you have to say no for it, and you have to enter the declarant detail, right? Declarant details means the name of the declarant and the declarant designation, contact details, NIC number, and that relevant details. Okay, then you have to use the next button, right? You can use the next button to move to the next schedule, right? Here you are in the schedule 1, right? Schedule 1 to disclose the exempted income, right? In case the company do have tax exempted income under the Inland Revenue Act number 10 of 2006 or under the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017 or even under the BUI exemptions, right? So that detail has to be entered here, right? So this first part to disclose the exempted income under the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017. Here you have to select the relevant items. I mean, the item means you have to select the relevant section of the Inland Revenue Act, right? under which section of Inland Revenue Act this income is exempted, right? Once you select the relevant section, description will be automatically pop up here, right? Then you have to say the amount, date, in number of years, and kind of details, right? So here you have to enter the data directly in these cages, right? If you do have more than 5, you can add more rows, right? Using this add button, right? මේ විදිහට තමයි exempted income එකට අදාළව තියෙන detail enter කරන්න ඕනේ. ඇත්තටම ඒකේ කොටස් ගණනාවක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට එතන exempted income එකක් තිබ්බත් ඒ වගේම exempted loss එකක් තිබ්බත්, right? ඒ details මේ විදිහට schedule 1 එකට enter කරන්න ඕනේ. schedule 1 එකට මේ detail enter කළාම මේ exempted income වලට අදාළ total value එක main return එකට auto populate වෙනවා. So that function is available in this corporate income tax return as well. We experience that, right, in the individual income tax returns. Once you enter the data to the particular schedule, right, that total value will be auto populate into the main return from the schedules. Likewise, here also that facility is available, right? Once you enter the data to the particular schedule, right, the total value will be automatically populated to the main return. And other thing is, right, you cannot enter the data for the gray color boxes, right? You can only enter the data to the white color boxes, right? So the gray color boxes data will be automatically populated by the system based on the data that you have entered into the white color box, relevant white color box, right? Okay, is it clear? Any doubt or anything you need to clarify regarding this loss schedule? Sorry, regarding this exempted schedules, or even regarding that qualifying option? Anything you need to further clarify, or any feedback up to this point? Okay, so we'll move forward, right? So we have entered some details for the exit schedules, right? So we'll see whether this data, this 10,100,000, whether this data is available in the relevant cage of the main return, right? So we can move to the main return. Using cancel button, right? So here you can see the data that we entered to the schedule 1 is now available in the main return, right? So now we move to the schedule 2. Schedule 2 to enter the assessable income from the source of business and investment, right? Here you can see there's a summary page, right? Summary table, right? This summary table, so you cannot enter the data directly to this summary section. Instead of entering data to this summary section, what you have to do, you have to enter the data for the sub schedules, right? Schedule 2A, right? So this schedule 2, still you can see there's no any detail here because we have not yet enter any data related to the business income, investment income, or the other income, right? So now let me show you how to enter the data for this business income, right? So for that purpose, we have to use this schedule 2A, 2A part 1 business income, right? Here, as we, if you can remember, as we discuss under the individual income tax, business income, right? Here also you have to enter the relevant activity code, right? So once you enter the relevant activity code, right, the description of the business will be automatically pop up under the nature of business column, right? So we'll see. If you know the relevant activity code, right, the description will be automatically pop up. Here, this particular activity code for the wholesale or other textile and clothing. And then you have to enter the turnover, that means revenue. And under the fourth column, you have to enter the gain and profit, that means tax adjusted profit from this particular business, right? So in case you do have more activities, more business activities, right? You can enter those details as well, right? So in case you don't know the particular activity code for your business, what you can do is you can use these 6 zeros and you can enter the turnover and the gain and profit. Likewise, you can enter the details refers to the investment income as well. So with compared to the individual income tax return, here the difference is in the individual income tax returns, there was separate schedule for the business income, separate schedule for the investment income, and separate schedule for the other income. But here, the gain and profit from the business investment and other has to be entered under the schedule 2A, right? Schedule 2A, but there are separate tables, so separate segment, right? So schedule 2A part 1 for the business income, schedule 2A part 2 for the investment income, right? So now we are entering the data for the investment income. Here also again we have to enter the relevant activity code. 000121 is the activity code for the interest income, right? So and if you do have other source of other type of investment income, maybe dividend, right? Sometimes maybe some commission or something like that. That details you have to enter here. The important thing is you have to enter the turnover as well as the gain and profit. Gain and profit means the tax adjusted profit, right? So always remember, gain and profit is not the accounting profit. It should be the tax adjusted profit, right? Even for the other income, you can enter, right? If you do have other income in your business, you can enter that details as well, right? And now let's see the summary, right? Let's see the summary. Okay, so once we complete the schedule 2A, right, the summary will be like this, right? Now you can see we have entered the business income, gain and profit from the business, gain and profit from the investment, but we didn't enter the gain and profit under the other income. But if it is applicable, you can enter, right? So now, since we do not enter any loss related details to the schedule 2B, right? System identified that at the moment there is no loss to deduct. Therefore, right, assessable income is equal to the gain and profit, right? So, you know, under the section 19 of the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017, right, now the loss is a kind of deductible expense when calculating the assessable income. Therefore, right, if loss is available, right, we have to deduct that loss from the gain and profit in order to calculate the assessable income from that particular source of income. ඒ කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම මේ business income එක නැත්නම් investment income එක හොයද්දී අපිට Inland Revenue Act එකේ section 19 වල තියෙන ආකාරයට loss එක අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ loss එක අඩු කරන්න මම හිතන්නේ ඔයාලා දන්නවා ඇති මොකක්ද එතනද ඊ තියෙන condition කියලා. condition මේක සරලව කියනවා නම් business loss එක business profit එකට against සහ investment profit එකට against අපිට deduct කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි investment loss එක අපිට business profit එකට against deduct කරන්න බෑ. Investment loss we can deduct only against the investment income. So that is one, right? Other one is exempted loss cannot be deduct against the liable income. Exempted that means if the activity is tax exempted, right? The loss incurred from that activity cannot be deduct against the liable profit, right? So the loss incurred from any tax exempted activity can only be deduct against the tax exempted profit, right? So that is other condition. Other than that, there's another condition. That condition is the activity which is taxed under the higher tax rate, right? The loss incurred from the activity which is taxed under the lower tax rate, right? Cannot be deduct against the gain and profit which is taxed under the higher tax rate. ඒ කියන්නේ අඩු tax rate එකකින් tax වෙන මොකක් හරි activity එකකින් generate වුණු loss එක higher rate එකකින් tax වෙන activity එකක profit එකට against අඩු කරගන්න බෑ. හැබැයි දැන් ඔය ප්‍රශ්නේ මේ අවුරුද්දට එනකොට 24 25ට එනකොට ගොඩක් දුරට අඩුයි. මොකද මේ concessionary rate සාපේක්ෂව අඩුයි. දැන් earlier ඉස්සර සෑහෙන ප්‍රමාණයක් concessionary tax rate තිබ්බා 14% 18% වගේ concessionary tax rate තිබ්බා. දැන් ඇත්තටම concessionary tax rate ඒ කියන්නේ මේ වගේ අඩු rate එකකින් tax වෙන අවස්ථා මම හිතන්නේ සාපේක්ෂව අඩුයි. ඒ හින්දා ඒක but that law is still there, right? So once we come, so now we'll move to this loss schedule, right? So we'll see how to enter the loss related detail. For that purpose, we have to move to the schedule 2B. Let me open this. Right. So we are in the loss schedule. That means schedule 2B. Right. Your schedule contains the summary. Right. The topmost part is the summary of loss. Right. Here. Loss from the business and loss from the investment, right? Again, it has been divided into the loss from the local sources and loss from the foreign sources and the total loss, right? The first part, 2B first part, 2B1 is the business losses, right? So you know, under this act, the losses from the year of assessment 1819, brought forward loss from the year of assessment 1819 can be claimed, right? Here first we have to enter the brought forward losses. That means brought forward losses from the business from the year of assessment 1819 to 22-23. Here this is 23-24 return, right? And again, it has been divided based on the rate. මේ rate අනුව මේක කොටස් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒකට හේතුව අර මම කලින් කිව්වා වගේ අඩු rate එකකින් tax උණු activity එකකින් generate උණු loss එක වැඩි rate එකකින් tax වෙන activity එකක profit එකකට against අඩු කරන්න බෑ. එතකොට මේ 14% දැන් 2018 19 නැත්නම් 19 20 21 කාලේ 14% rate එකේ tax උණු business activity එකකින් generate උණු loss එක ගෙනල්ලා ගෙනල්ලත් මේ දැන් වර්තමානයේ 30 rate එකකින් මේ tax වෙන activity එක profit එකට against අඩු කරගන්න බෑ. හැබැයි උතෙන්දී එකම ස්පෙෂල් කන්ඩිෂන් එකක් දුන්නා 22-23 year of assessment එකේදී. මොකද එතන අවුරුද්ද මැද අර ඔක්තෝබර් 1 වෙනිදා ඉඳලා රේට් චේන්ජ් එකක් ආවා. එදා ඉඳලා 14 ඒවා 18ට කන්වර්ට් වුණා. එතෙන්දී කිව්වා කලින් අඩු රේට් එක තිබිලා දැන් මේ වැඩි රේට් එකකට ඇවිත් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඒ කාලේ තිබ්බේ රේට් එක 28යි. එතකොට නැත්තම් 28 30 වුණා. ඒ 28 30 වීම නැත්තම් ඒ කලින් අඩු රේට් එකක ඉඳලා 2022 කරපු ටැක්ස් චේන්ජ් එක හින්දා වැඩි රේට් එකකට ආපු එකට මේක බලපාන්නේ නැහැ කියලා එතනට ස්පෙෂල් කන්ඩිෂන් එකක් දුන්නා. රයිට්. අපි බලමු මේ දැන් මේකට data enter කරන එක නම් direct data enter කරන්න තියෙන්නේ data මේ brought forward loss එක. එතකොට system එක calculate කරනවා total brought forward losses. That means sometimes company might have brought forward losses from the year of assessment 18 19 19 20 20 21 likewise, no. So total will be calculated by the system here. The total I have entered few data here, right? And if there's a loss during the year, that detail has to be entered under the case number 20B11, 20B91 and 20B21, right? ඒ කියන්නේ ඊට අමතරව මේ අවුරුද්දේ losses තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් brought forward loss එකට අමතරව මේ අවුරුද්දේ loss එකත් අපි enter කරනවා. Thereafter, according to that, system calculate the total loss, right? Total loss. Those are the total loss, right? Available for the year of assessment 23-24, right? So in case we need to go back and check the assessable income, we can do this, right? So then මෙතන ගත්තොත් එම total loss එක තියෙනවා. So thereafter we have to do the adjustment, right? So adjustment කරන්න මෙතන අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. ඒ adjustment එක කියන්නේ අත්‍තරම loss transfer කරපුවට අදාළ details මෙතන we can enter, right? ඒ කියන්නේ higher rate එකකින් ඉඳලා lower rate එකට loss transfer කරපුවා higher rate එකේ tax වෙන activity එක loss එක lower rate එකෙන් tax වෙන activity එක profit එකකට against අපිට claim කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක තමයි මේ case එක මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම business loss එක අපිට investment profit එකට against claim කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට අදාළව තමයි මෙතන මේ තියෙන්නේ losses transfer to investment කියලා. ඒ වගේම specified losses, specific losses මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. ඒවා ටික deduct වුණාම, ඒවා ටික අයින් වුණාම deductible losses තමයි මේ මෙතන 20යි B 17 97 27 සහ 37 කියන කේජ් වල පෙන්නන්නේ. ඕකේ. ඊට පස්සේ so we'll move to the we can use the cancel button always to move to the main return, right? So in case we need to analyze the profit against, we can move to the schedule 2A, right? So those are the gain and profit for this year of assessment, right? 1.7 million business income and 15 million investment income, right? So there are 1.5 million losses, right? So the business losses, we do have 1.5 million. That 1.5 million can be deduct against the business income of 1.7, right? And likewise, we have to declare the investment losses as well. Investment losses can be claimed only against the investment profit, right? Under the Schedule 2B Part 1, we enter the loss details refers to the business income. So now we are entering the loss details refers to the investment, right? අපි කලින් enter කළේ ඇත්තටම කලින් business එකේ brought forward loss එක සහ business එකේ current year loss එක සහ ඒක අපි කොහොමද මේ අවුරුද්ද use කරන්නේ. දැන් මේ part එකෙන් අපි enter කරන්නේ brought forward investment loss එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක සහ current year investment loss එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ detail. හැබැයි දැන් යම්කිසි company එකකට මේ විදිහට losses නැත්නම් අපිට මේ loss schedule එක skip කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් අපි මෙතනටත් ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් ලොස් එකකුත් ගෙනලා දැම්මා රයිට් එතකොට දැන් මේ තියෙන්නේ ලොස් එක අඩු වුණාන් පස්සේ මෙතන ඇසෙසබල් ඉන්කම් එක ආපහු රීකැල්කියුලේට් කරලා තියෙනවා සිස්ටම් එක earlier there was no losses right but once we complete the schedule 2b there are losses to deduct from the business profit there are losses to deduct from the investment profit right. So after deduct this loss, business loss against the business income, the assessable business profit 250,000 and assessable investment profit 14,910,000, right? So in case we need to do some alteration, right? Once we enter the data for this schedule 2A and 2B, right? Still can, right? So until we submit the return, we can do the alteration for the schedule 2A and schedule 2B, right? So anything, any questions or any issue refers to the application of schedule 2A and schedule 2B. Once you just if this is the first time that you go through this corporate income tax return, it will be somewhat difficult to grab all these things, right? But as a summary, just have this kind of idea, right? Schedule 2A to disclose the income from the business and investment, and schedule 2B to disclose the brought forward losses and the current year losses from the business and investment, right? And then under this schedule 2B, right? Thereafter, you have to disclose, that means you have to declare how to utilize this current year loss and the brought forward loss against the current year profit. Current year profit එකෙන් ඔයගොල්ලන් කොහොමද මේ අපි හිතමු current year loss එකක් තිබ්බේ නෑ brought forward loss එකක් විතරයි තිබ්බේ කියලා. මේ brought forward loss එක කොහොමද current year profit එකට against අඩු කරගත්තේ. ඒ අඩු කරගත්තන් පස්සේ ඉස්සරහට carry forward කරන loss එකක් තියෙනවද? තියෙනවා නම් ඒ loss එක කොච්චරද? ඒ detail එක තමයි මේ schedule 2D එකේ enter කරන්න ඕනේ. ඔන්න ඔය detail එක enter කළාන් පස්සේ ඒ detail base කරගෙන මේ schedule 2 summary එක develop වෙනවා. දැන් අපි 2B එකට data enter කරන්න කලින් schedule 2 summary එකේ තිබ්බේ මේ business profit එක සහ investment profit එක විතරයි. දැන් අපි schedule 2B එකට ගිහිල්ලා data enter කළාන් පස්සේ මේක තවත් develop වෙලා right අපිට පෙන්නනවා loss එක අඩු වුණාට පස්සේ business එකෙන් ආපු assessable income එක සහ investment වලින් ආපු assessable income එක. ඊළඟ මතක තියාගන්න ඕනි දේ තමයි මේ 2A සහ 2B අපිට මේක return එක submit කරනකම්ම alter කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක data enter කරන process එක ඇත්තටම direct data entering process එකක් තියෙන්නේ. direct අර white color තියෙන cage එකට අපිට ගිහිල්ලා data එක enter කරන්න පුළුවන්. right? So let's move forward, right? So there are a lot of info buttons, right? In case you need further clarification, you can use these info buttons as well. And not only that, there's a guideline as well, right? You can use those guidelines as well if you do have any issue while you are filing this corporate income tax return, right? So, and this part for the foreign losses, right? If the source is foreign, right, it has to be disclosed under this separate part, right? මෙතන තව ඇක්ටිවිටි අතරම සෑහෙන ප්‍රමාණයක් එන්ටර් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔය ඇඩ් කියන බටන් එක හරහා ගිහිල්ලා දැන් ඇක්ටිවිටි අතරම සමහර විට සමහර ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකට ඇක්ටිවිටි 5කට වඩා, ඒ කියන්නේ 7ක් 8ක් නැත්නම් 10ක් වගේ ප්‍රමාණයක් උනත් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතකොට අපිට මේ රෝ එකක් ඇඩ් කරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා තව ඇක්ටිවිටි ඇඩ් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්, right? So then we'll move to the qualifying payment schedule. So we have, hope we have done the things for the assessable income and the relevant losses, and we'll move to the next schedule. This schedule 3 is for the qualifying payment, right? So there are qualifying payments under the New Inland Revenue Act, as well as qualifying payment brought forward, qualifying payment under the previous Inland Revenue Act, right? So if that qualifying payment is applicable, right, you can enter the data here. The first part is for the summary, right, and the second part is for to enter the data, right? So now we have enter only just donation 500,000. So once we enter the qualifying payment related details into the schedule 3, it will be auto-populated to the main return. It is here now, right? So then based on the, again, we are in the qualifying payment schedule, right? Here we have entered the donations, right? So can you see the payment made during the year of assessment 23-24, right? Here, this is under the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2007 team. This is the donation. This is the qualifying payment that we claim. The donation made to the approved charity, right? Donation made to the approved charity. So we have entered 600,000, but by the law, it is allowed up to maximum 500,000. So here you can see by the system, this 600,000 has been limited to the 500,000, and amount deductible is 500,000, right? So, right, so we do not enter any donations or any qualifying payment under those categories, right? If we do have the qualifying payment under these categories as well, system will be allowed the qualifying payment with this limitation, right? So මේ limitations ගැන worry වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. System එකේ limitation වලට system එක validate කරලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට qualifying payment එක දැම්මම ඒ qualifying payment එක නැත්නම් ඒ donation එක ඒ අදාළ මුදල දැම්මනම් ඒක ඉඩ දෙනවද නැද්ද කියන එක සිස්ටම් එක තීරණය කරලා මේ සිස්ටම් එක කැල්කියුලේට් කරනවා ඒ amount එක. right අපි මෙතන බිංදුවක් දැම්මොත් මේ සිස්ටම් එක මේක qualifying payment එක deductible amount එක 0 කරගන්නවා. එයා maximum දෙන්නේ ලක්ෂ 5යි. අපි ලක්ෂ 3ක් විතර දැම්මොත් එයා ලක්ෂ 3ක් ඉඩ දෙනවා. maximum ලක්ෂ 5ක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ලක්ෂ 3යි මෙයා donate කරලා තියෙන. ඒ හින්දා qualifying payment එක ලක්ෂ 3කට limit වෙනවා. Likewise. So specific donation we can claim up to 100% of assessable income. අපි දැන් 1 million දැම්ම එයා 1 million දෙනවා. අපි 14 million 8.6 වලට වඩා වැඩි දැම්මොත් එයා donation එක 14 million 8.6 වලට limit කරනවා. ඊළඟට මේ තියෙන film industry වලට අදාළ donations, right? So you know that even for the individual can claim the qualifying payment against the investment in the film industry. So likewise here in corporate income tax return as well, there's a separate section to disclose the qualifying payment for the film industry or qualifying payment made against the film industry. And this is the qualifying payment brought forward from the previous act, right? So that is why these returns are getting more and more complicated because of the law, right? So not because of the Inland Revenue, because of the law. By the law, it is allowed to claim the brought forward qualifying payment as well. That means brought forward in the sense the qualifying payment from the previous act, right? So therefore, in order to facilitate that, or in order to comply with that law, right? IRB has to design the returns with the room for that kind of thing as well. එතකොට මේ වගේ දේවල් වලට ඉඩ තියලා මේ රිටර්න් එක හදනකොට ඇත්තටම මේ රිටර්න් එක ටිකක් කම්ප්ලෙක්ස් වෙනවා. මොකද හැමතිස්සෙම IRB එක පැත්තකට එන චෝදනාවක් තමයි මේවා කම්ප්ලෙක්ස් වැඩි, මේවා සාමාන්‍ය ලේමන් කෙනෙකුට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක. ඇත්තටම එතන ලේමන් කෙනෙකුට තේරෙන්න කියන මේක කරන්න තියෙන අපහසුතාවය ඕනෝක තමයි. මොකද ලෝ එක කම්ප්ලිකේටඩ් වෙනකොට ලෝ එකේ දැන් මේ අවුරුද්දේ qualifying payment විතරක් නෙමෙයි කලින් අවුරුදු වලින් brought forward qualifying payments උත් දෙන්න කියලා ලෝ එක කියනකොට ලෝ එක පැත්තෙන් ඒ විදිහේ complexity එකක් එනකොට මේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඒකට parallel return සහ අනිත් දේවල් එතකොට complex තැනකට යනවා, right? දැන් අපි ඊළඟට ඇවිත් තියෙන්නේ schedule 4 එකට, right? Tax on taxable income, right? අපි මෙතෙන්දී අපේ මේ schedule එකේ ප්‍රධාන objective එක වෙන්නේ දැන් අපේ තියෙන taxable income එක අපි දැන් qualifying payment අඩු කරගෙන ඉවරයි. We have deduct the qualifying payment. So now the objective is to calculate the tax liability. So we'll see how to do that part. So the total taxable income is there, right? So this is the total taxable income, right? So based on the main return, the total assessable income is 15 million. Qualifying payment is 1.5. After deduct the qualifying payment against the assessable income, taxable income is 13,610,000. So it is available here in the schedule 4. So now what we have to do is we have to distribute this assessable income. We have to distribute this taxable income based on the rates and the relevant codes, right? So the same thing happened under the individual income tax return schedule 8 as well, no? Once we calculate the taxable income, even under the individual income tax return, we have to distribute that taxable income based on the source and relevant period. So like here, we have to distribute this total taxable income under the schedule 4 based on the relevant activity and the relevant rate. So now this is the capital gain, the applicable rate is 30, right? And right? So once we apply the code, right? In certain cases, system decide the rate, but in certain cases, we have to uh, enter the relevant rate, right? So likewise, we have to complete that part, right? Then tax on remittance details, right? If you do have any foreign remittance, right? Here is the place where you need to calculate the tax on remittance, right? Remittance taxes. And then you have to enter the breakup of remittance as well under the schedule 5. Then schedule 6 to final withholding payment and gain and grant donation and kind of thing that is applicable for the NGO, right? මෙතන මේ ඇත්තටම මේ ෆයිනල් withholding tax details ගත්තොතින් මෙතෙන්දී ඇත්තටම මේ මේ රෝස් කීපයයි ඇත්තටම ඇඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ මෙතෙන්දී ඇත්තටම මේ වැඩිපුර ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා නම් ෆයිනල් withholding tax related transaction ඒක අර CSV format එකෙන් තමයි disclose කරන්න වෙන්නේ. මතකනේ අපි CSV format එක කතා කළා මේ ඉන්ඩිවිජුවල් ඉන්කම් ටැක්ස් රිටර්න් එකේදීත් ඔය withholding tax සම්බන්ධයෙන් එනකොට මෙතෙන්දිත් ඒ වගේම වැඩිපුර රෝස් ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා වැඩිපුර ට්‍රාන්සැක්ෂන් ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ ප්‍රමාණයට අදාළ තොරතුරු CSV format එකෙන් දෙන්න ඕනේ අර ටෙම්ප්ලේට් එකෙන් data enter කරලා ඒ වගේම ඊට පස්සේ tool එක හරහා verify කරපුවලා ඒ detail එක submit කරන්න ඕනේ මෙතන අපි ඒකේ මේ summary එක cross එක තමයි දාන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ schedule 7 එක තියෙන්නේ අපිට we have to enter the tax credit details, right? So foreign tax credit, other relief, it has been divided into two as a refundable tax credit and non-refundable tax credit, right? Self-assessment payment, that means actually the installment payment, right? You have to enter those details. And schedule 7A, right, will show you the balance tax payable after deducting the foreign tax credit. And schedule 7B to disclose the non-final withholding tax related details, right? So here also, right? So here what you have to do is you cannot enter the details. I mean, tax agent wise detail you cannot enter here. Instead of that, what you have to do is you have to uh, enter the aggregate value of withholding tax deducted under the particular rate, right? Again, 10 rate එකකින් කොච්චරක් withholding tax deduct කරගෙන තියෙනවද? 24 rate එකකින් කොච්චර withholding tax deduct කරගෙන තියෙනවද? ඒ විදිහට ඒ detail එක. ඒ detail එක තමයි enter කරන්න ඕනි. ඒකේ breakup එක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම CSV template එකෙන් ඒකේ breakup එක දෙන්න ඕනි. මම ඕකේ CSV template එක තියෙන තැන පෙන්නන්න. So let me show you the place where that CSV template is available. So we have to move to the download and the schedules. Income tax, non-resident companies. Here it is scheduled for withholding tax credit, right? This is it, right? Yeah, just wait, right? So here it is, right? This is the original rule template, right? This is right here. So enable content. So then you have to enter the serial number. Then question. Yeah, I'm just showing how to save this CSV file, right? Here you have to enter the serial number wise detail, right? Type of payment, say just say one of this, right? Just say interest. So name of withholding agent, say ABC, and withholding agents team. We have to enter the particular withholding agents team and the year of assessment, right? So we'll see 23, 24, and gross amount reserved without VAT, right? Say 1 million, right? Withholding rate, say it's 23, 24, no? Therefore, say just 5%. Withholding tax deducted amount 1 million 50,000. Claim during the period 50,000. Carry forward value 0, and certificate number ABC 123. So then, so likewise, we have to enter all the relevant details. If there are 50 transaction or 100 transaction or whatever it is, we have to enter here, right? So the rate is 5 here. Then we have to export this file to the CSV. So here we have to name the file using the particular in. I cannot remember the exact in, just assume maybe it says and CID withholding schedule. It is 20. 324. Original B1, yes, it's correct. And here we have to save this as a CSV, delimiter. Save this. So check like this. It is here now. So we'll try to validate this particular withholding tax schedule with the tool. Right? I don't know whether it is work or not, but we'll try, right? Tool. Here we have to download the tool. Schedule verifier tool. That is CAT, okay. It's downloading. So this is the place where we can download the tool. We have to move to the download. From the download, we have to select the tools. From the tools, we have to select the schedule file verifier tool. Right. So I have downloaded it. We'll running, right? From here, we have to select the application. Strength. So seems to be my laptop. This is my official laptop. Since I can access to the system through this laptop, there are a lot of firewall and kind of thing. I don't know whether because of those firewalls and kind of thing, where there are a lot of security options here. I don't know whether this is not allowed to me to run this tool because of this firewall and kind of thing. Anyway, I have a recorded video regarding this schedule file verifier tool application. So I will run this schedule file verifier tool application video, right? If it is not possible. So anyhow, this is the way we have to work, right? First, we have to create a CSV file. and then we have to run the tool, and then we have to here there's some issue with running this tool. So, here it is. Okay, so this is the tool, schedule file verifier tool. From this schedule file verifier tool, we have to select the relevant tool. So there are a lot of tools here, right? So now we just want to verify the CIT schedule. So we select the CIT schedule file verifier. So file verifier, CIT withholding credit with effect from 1819 original, period code 2324. So we'll browse the CSV file. Slow. Slow. Sessions. This is it. Then we have browsed the relevant file. TIN number, enter name. So TIN number enter in name is invalid. So that means I have just enter not the exact TIN. I think that may be the issue. We have to rename that CSV file with the proper TIN, I think. So okay. Let me try it again with the proper TIN number. Proper TIN number. The moment I can't remember the proper TIN number because yes, that is the case. TIN number should be the correct TIN number. If I enter uh, some just 9 characters, 9 digits, rather entering the proper TIN, system will not accept that. That is what happened here. Here I just enter the during naming this CSV file, I just enter the just 9 digits, it not the exact TIN of the corporate income tax file. So I think that is what happened. So what I can do is we can have a TIN from here. No? So let's try to have it in this TIN 114 201 201 316. 201 316. Let's try it once again with that thing. So withholding agent thing is anyhow it's different. So we'll try to 114 201. I think it's 201 316 316. This is save it. Then we'll try to run this one. CIT schedule verifier. This is it. Period code. This one. Let's try. So here also some error is going on. TIN number entered in the name is invalid. TIN number entered the name is invalid. So now I have just entered the actual, it also not the actual TIN, actually that TIN number also used only for the testing purpose. That may be the reason. If you know any corporate TIN number, we can retry with that corporate TIN number. Actually, at the moment, I cannot remember any of the corporate TIN number. But I have already saved the one for this. I think withholding tax type. I think this number is correct one, but this is not for the corporate. This is for the individual. Can someone remember any corporate TIN number? If we can, this one. We'll try with this one. Thank you very much for this one. 114252751. We'll try with this one. We export this file against to the CSV. And the TIN is 114 252 751. 252 751. This is 23 to 24. It's 25. Like in original V1. Save. Let's try with this one here. This one. This time, yes, that naming part is correct, but validation fail may be due to the withholding agent in and kind of thing. Here, yeah, that is because I just put another 9 digits as a withholding agent in. It also not the correct thing in the production. That is why this has been failed here. So, but this is the process you have to do during the validation of this CSV file. You have to, once you enter the actual data, there will not be this kind of error, right? So this error I know because I just enter the invalid data here. I just enter the I do not enter the actual TIN as a withholding agent TIN. That is why system identified it, right? So if I enter the correct withholding agent TIN here, sometimes this may be passed, right? So, but what I need to show you, this is the process. You have to first download the CSV, then you have to enter the relevant details into the schedule, right? That template. Then you have to convert that template into the CSV. And once you convert into the Excel into the CSV, you have to name the file according to the given instruction. You have to enter the TIN then you have to say it is CIT withholding tax schedule, then the year of assessment, then the date, and then the version number. So those things you have to enter, and you have to select the file type as the CSV, comma delimited, and you have to save it. Once you save it, then you have to open the relevant tool, and you have to browse that CSV to this particular tool, and you have to verify. If everything is correct, it will be passed, but in this case, it has been failed, right? So anyhow, this is the process. So schedule 7, right? While you are completing the schedule 7 here, so we were in the schedule 7. We were in the schedule 7 here, right? Right, tax credit and schedule 7B, right? Schedule 7B here, right? So then you have to enter the aggregate value of that particular CSV file. That is the CSV file for the rate 5%, right? Here you have to say the details for the 5%, right? The claim during the year for the rate 5%, right? If you do have the non-final withholding for those rate as well, right? You have to create the relevant CSV files for those rates as well, and you have to upload, right? So once you complete this, right? So part A is already done. Thereafter, we do have to complete the part B of the schedule, right? So part B is not the compulsory one, not the mandatory one, right? Instead of part B, that means instead of schedule 8 and 9, you can submit the your own tax computation and the relevant financial statement, right? But in order to submit your own one, you have to say no for the main return schedule 8, 9, and 10, right? Here, this is the part B, right? So now you can see the balance tax payable amount has been computed, right? So we say no at the moment, right? Then we can, so now we say, since we say no for the schedule 8 and 9 and 10, go to part B has been disabled, right? So what we can do is we can just move to the confirmation page from here. This is it, right? This is the confirmation page. And then there are a lot of certain options as individual income tax return, but only difference is here you cannot submit it, right? You cannot submit these returns to the IRD. The reason is here you log into the system as the corporate income tax return preparer, not as the approver. As far as you are not the approver, what you can do is you can just pass this return to the approver for the approval, right? So, but still you can make a printout of this confirmation page. It may be a printout, or even you can save this confirmation page as a PDF, right? and you can upload the supporting documents with this option, right? Upload supporting document option. You can upload the supporting document. It may be financial statement. It may be the verified CSV template and kind of thing, right? So you have to upload those items, and then you can submit it for the approval. So thereafter, the same person or maybe some other person has to log into the system as a corporate income tax return approver, right? And then he has to open up this return and he can go through it. And if everything is correct, the approver can submit the return to the IRT, right? So that is the difference between the individual income tax return and the corporate income tax return. The corporate income tax return, only approver can submit it to the Inland Revenue, right? So here this is the uploading document user interface, right? So you can upload certain details, right? Once it complete, you have to save the page, and once you save it, you will be back to the confirmation page, right? So here I just cancel it. I even didn't pass it this to the approval, right? So this is the process of the corporate income tax return filing, right? So it may be some little bit complex one with compared to the previous individual income tax return and the partnership income tax return. But still you can make this return bit simple through the qualifying page, right? You can select the necessary schedules, and you can deactivate or you can disable some schedules which are not relevant to your business, right? And that is what I have to show you, refers to this corporate income tax return filing. Do you have any questions, any suggestions, or something you even it is very much better if you can have any experience to share with us. What is your experience with the filing of corporate income tax return? Now it's up to you. And again, thank you very much for your cooperation. Without your cooperation, I was not able to run this CSV. Thank you very much for providing that team. මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැත්නම් ෆීඩ්බැක් එකක් මේක මම හිතන්නේ මේ වීඩියෝ එක නම් කෝපරේට් කැම්පස් එක මේක මේ ලෙක්චර් එක ඒගොල්ලන් රෙකෝඩ් කරගන්නවා වීඩියෝ එකත් එක්කම මම හිතන්නේ පාර්ටිසිපන්ට්ලට මේකෙන් පස්සේ මේ කෝපරේට් කැම්පස් එක හරහා මේ රෙකෝඩින් එක ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. Any questions? මොකද ඊළඟ සෙෂන් එකේදී අපිට කතා කරන්න තියෙන්නේ ඇත්තටම රිටර්න් දෙකක් ගැන කතා කරන්න තියෙනවා. Advanced personal income tax APIT return එක සහ withholding return එක සම්බන්ධයෙන්.
මට විනාඩියක් දෙනවද?
Sorry?
මට විනාඩියක් දෙනවද කතා කරන්න?
Yes, okay.
දැන් එදා අපිට කියා දුන්නානේ මේ මට ඉන්ඩිවිජුවල් ඉන්කම් එකක් තියෙන්නේ.
හරි.
එතකොට මම බැලුවා දැන් එදා අපිට පෙන්වන්නේ සෝලා වලට ලක්ෂ 6ක් අපිට මේව කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. මම ඒ පාර මම ඒක සෝලා වලට ලක්ෂ 6 ඒක එතන එන්ටර් කරා. එන්ටර් කරාම මේන් එකේ පෙන්වනවා ලක්ෂ 6
page number එක 511 මිස් එන්ටර් කළානේ.
ඔව් මම එන්ටර් කරාම ඒක මේන් එකට පෙන්නුවා. මේන් රිටර්න් එකට.
හරි.
එතකොට සර් මගේ එම්ප්ලොයි ඉන්කම් එක තිබුණේ ලක්ෂ 19යි. එතකොට
okay
පර්සනල් රිලීෆ් එකත් එක්ක අරකයි ලක්ෂ 12යි 6යි 18ක්නේ. එතකොට
ඔව්
ඊට පස්සේ ටැක්සබල් ඉන්කම් එකත් ඒක පෙන්නනවා 1.63ක් කියලා. ඒ වුණාට
හරි
සර් මේක මගේ ගෙවන්න තියෙන මුදලට ඒක අදාළ වෙලා තිබුණෙම නැහැ.
මට
ඒක
මිස්
කොහොමද?
එතන අන්තිම කොටස දෙන්න ගෙවන්න තිබුණු මුදලට අදාළ වෙලා තිබුණේ කියන්නේ මට
දැන් ලක්ෂ 6 මේ සෝල එකක් නැතුව මට ගෙවන්න තියෙන ගාණ පෙන්නනවනේ සර් 61000ක් කියලා පෙන්නනවා. සෝල එක නැතුව. දැන් සෝල
පොඩ්ඩක්
එක
දෙන්න
දැම්මෙන් පස්සේ ලක්ෂ 6ක් හම්බෙන්නේ.
chat එකේ මම ඔක මේව ගන්න දැන් හරි අපි කියමු මිස්ගේ මේ අපි කියමුකෝ total accessible income එක
ඔව් මගේ තිබුණේ සෝල එක නැතුව නම් තිබුණේ ලක්ෂ 19යි.
හරි පොඩ්ඩක්
එතකොට
ඉන්න. අපි මෙහෙම හදමු accessible income එක තිබ්බා 1.9
9. ඊට පස්සේ පර්සනල් රිලීෆ් එක අයින් කරාම ලක්ෂ 12 අයින් කරාම
හරි
ඉතුරු වෙන ගාණට ගෙවන්න තියෙන්නේ මට 61000යි.
අපි හදමු මේ මොන year of assessment එකද මේ මිස් කියන්නේ
මේ අවුරුද්ද 23
24 25
24 25.
24 25 right okay personal relief එතකොට තියෙනවා 1.2 million
ඔව්.
හරි
හරිනේ සර්. ඊට
හරි
පස්සේ
ඊට
මම
අමතරව solar relief තියෙනවා 600,000 නේ
ඔව් ඒක තිබුණා. ඊට පස්සේ මං සෝලර් රිලීෆ් එක ඒක එන්ටර් දුන්නා. ලක්ෂ
හරි
6ක්නේ. එතකොට ඒක මේන් රිටර්න් එකේ පෙන්නනවා ලක්ෂ 6ක් පෙන්නනවා. ඊට
ඔව්
පස්සේ
හරි
ඔක්කොම අඩු කරලා මගේ ටැක්සබල් ඉන්කම් එක එතකොට පෙන්නන්නේ 1.63යි.
1.63 දැන්
ඔව්.
exactly accessible income එක 1.9 නම් accessible income එක 1.9 නම් මේ 1.8 අඩු වුණාම පෙන්වන්න ඕනි ලක්ෂයයි 1.63යි නෙමෙයි
නෑ සර් 19 ලක්ෂ 63170යි ගානේ.
accessible income එක එහෙම තිබ්බේ
ඔව්.
right
ඔව්.
හරි
ඇසෙසබල් ඉන්කම් එක රිලීෆ් අඩු කරන්නේ නැතුව ලක්ෂ 12 අඩු කරන්නේ නැතුව තිබුණේ
හරි
19 ලක්ෂ 63178යි.
හරි අපි ඒ ගාන දාමු 19 ලක්ෂ
63120යි 733යි.
සත ගාන අයින් කළා අපි 120 දාමු
ඔව්. හරි සර්. දැන්
හරි
එතකොට මගේ ඒකට සෝල එක නැතුව නම් මට එන්නේ
හරි අපි සෝල එකක් දාමු සෝල එක මිස් ක්ලේම් කළානේ
සෝල එක නොදා දැන් ඕක මේ ඔටෝම මේ තිබුණානේ දැනටමත් මගේ අර එම්ප්ලොයි ඉන්කම් එක මේකට අරන් තිබුණා සර්. ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ්
හරි
රිටර්න් එකට අරන් තිබුණා.
හරි
ඊට පස්සේ දැන් අර සර් කියා දුන්න නිසා මට ඒක බලන්න ඕන හින්දා මං
ඕකේ
මේ සෝල වලට ලක්ෂ 6ක් දුන්නා.
හරි ඕකේ
ලක්ෂ 6 දුන්නා මේක මේන් රිටර්න් එකට ආවස ෂෙඩියුල් 5ට සෝල වලට ලක්ෂ 6යි කියලා.
හරි
එතකොට
ඒකත් අපි එන්ටර් කරමු හරි
ඔව්. එතකොට සර් පර්සනල් රිලීෆ් එක 12යි ලක්ෂ 6යි ලක්ෂ 18ක්නේ.
ඔව් හරි
එතකොට සර් ලක්ෂ 19න් අර කඩු වෙනකොට මගේ ටැක්සබල් ඉන්කම් එක එතකොට වෙන්නේ 1,63,120යි.
හරි ඒකත් අපි දාමු
ඔව්. එතකොට ඒ වුණාට සර් ඒකට ගැලපෙන්නේ නෙමෙයි මට එන ටැක්සබල් ඉන්කම් එක තියුනේ අරක වෙනසක් වුණේ 61000යි කියන එක වෙනසක් වුණේ නෑ.
නෑ taxable income එකද tax එකද වෙනසක් වුනේ
ටැක්ස් එක.
right අපි මේක tax එක හදලා බලමු
අන්න හදන්න සර්.
මේ tax liability එක තියෙන්නේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ 24 25 අවුරුද්දේ ලක්ෂ 5 ස්ලැබ් පළවෙනි ලක්ෂ 5 106 රේට් එකේ tax වෙන්නේ
106යි.
ඔව් එතකොට මේ 1,63,000
18ම 106යිනේ.
120 106 රේට් එකෙන් තමයි tax වෙන්නේ
ඔව්.
මේක තමයි tax liability එන්නේ ඔව්
ඕකනේ එන්න ඕනේ සර්. ඒ වුණාට මට ඔය සෝල එක අඩු කරන්නේ නැතුව එන ගානම තමයි මට පෙන්නන්නේ. ඇයි සර්?
සිස්ටම් එකේ
ඔව් සිස්ටම් එකේ.
හරි දැන් මිස්කී එතකොට මේ සෝල් එක අඩු වෙලා එන ගාන මේන් රිටර්න් එකේ tax
ඔව් මේන් රිටර්න් එකට ලක්ෂ 6 පෙන්නුවා.
පෙන්නුවා හරි
ඔව්
එතකොට
ටැක්සබල් ඉන්කම් එකත් පෙන්නනවා 1 ලක්ෂ.
ෂෙඩියුල් 8 එකට ගියාම ෂෙඩියුල්
ඔව්.
8 එකට ගියාම ෂෙඩියුල්
ඔව්.
8 එකේ page number එක 801 801 එකේ 1,63,120ක් විදියට හැදිලා තිබ්බද?
තප්පරයක් දෙන්න සර්. ඔව් 801 වල තිබුණා ඒක අඩු කරලා තියුණා 1,63,120යි කියලා.
හරි ඊට පස්සේ page number එක 809 A1
ඔව්.
කියන page එකටත් මිස් ඔය 1,63,120 එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ.
කොතනද සර්? 8
809 A1 කියන
8
page එක.
809. ඒ
ඔව්.
කියන්නේ ෂෙඩියුල් කීයද සර්?
schedule 8 එකේ. schedule 8 එකේ 809 A1.
ඒකේ අපි එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ සර් ඒ ගාන.
ඒ ගාන එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තමයි ඔය
ආ
160යි 163යි 120ට අදාළව මේ ටැක්ස්
හරි.
එක කැල්කියුලේට් කරන්නේ.
හරි. මම ඒකේ ෂෙඩියුල් 8 එකේ මගේ තියෙන බිඳුව කියලා.
නෑ අතන ඒ ගාන එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ මිස්.
එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක වෙන්නේ
ඔව්.
සර්. අරක වෙනසක් වුණා තිවිච්ච පරණ ගානම තමයි මට පෙන්නන්නේ.
නෑ අරක එන්ටර් කරලා බලන්න එතන මේ
ආ
income to be tax on progressive rate කියලා වගේ තමයි උතන ඔය ලේබල් එක තියෙන්නේ. cage number එක
ඔව්.
809A1.
ඔව්. ඊළඟ එක සර් ප්‍රශ්නේ දැන්
හරි.
අපේ දැන් සර් මේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් රිටර්න් එකට මේ මගේ අර ඇවිල්ලා තිබුණා ඔය පොඩි ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් ටිකක් ඇවිල්ලා තිබුණා
හරි.
ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකට.
හරි.
එතකොට සර් මේ හෙලෝ
හෙලෝ. ඔව්.
අහනවා සර්
ඇහෙනවා. ඔව්.
ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් ටිකක් තිබුණා ෂෙඩියුල් 3 වලට.
හරි.
එතකොට ඊට පස්සේ සර් අපි දැන් විත් හෝල්ඩින් අපේ කපනවනේ 105.
ඔව්.
මට පේන හැටියට සර් ඒක අඩු වෙලා තිබුණේ නෑ වගේ කියලා මට හිතුනේ.
මෙහෙමයි. ඒක අඩු වෙන්න මිස් මෙහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක අඩු වෙන්න
ඔව්.
මේ තාම නම් ඔටෝ එන්න විදියක් නැහැ මිස් ඒ withholding details ටික schedule 7 එකේ එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ.
නෑ එන්ටර් කරන්න යන්නේ තිබුණා සර්.
එතන තිබුණා. හරි. schedule 7 එකේ තිබුණා.
රිටර්න්
ඊට
එකෙන් දැන්
පස්සේ
ඒක මේ හදලා.
ඔව් 709 කියන කේජ් එකට ඒ amount එක මිස් එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් එතකන් අඩු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ schedule 7 එකේ එන total withholding tax credit එක එතන
ඔව්.
කේජ් තියෙනවා 709 කියලා. එතන අහනවා මේ අවුරුද්දේ තියෙන withholding tax credit එකෙන් කීයක් claim කරනවද කියලා. අන්න ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම 709 කියන කේජ් එකේ එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ. අර schedule 7 වල 706 වල තියෙන total withholding tax credit එක 709ට එන්ටර් කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තමයි ඒක යන්නේ credit schedule එකට. නැත්නම් යන්නේ නැහැ.
ඒක තමයි.
පොඩ්ඩක් චෙක් කරලා බලන්න schedule 7 එකේ 709ට ඒ ගාන එන්ටර් කළාද කියලා.
ඔව්. අනිත් එක සර් මේ මට දැන් අපේ ටින් නම්බර් කියන එක අපිට කවදාවත් වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහනේ.
ඔව් වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
එතකොට මේ සර් අපිට එන ওই ඩින් නම්බර් එකත් වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැති එකක්ද?
නෑ DIN number එක කියන එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. DIN number එක ක්වාටර් එකෙන් ක්වාටර් වෙනස් වෙනවා.
ආ.
DIN number එකනේ.
ඔව්.
ඒක වෙනස්.
ඔව් අනිත් එක සර් දැන් අපිට ගිය සැරේ අපේ රෙකෝඩින් එක අපිට LMS එකට මොකක් හරි ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ ටෙක්නිකල් එකක් කියලා තමයි කිව්වේ. ඒකෙන් හින්දා අර අපිට ඒක නැති එක හරි පාඩුවස්සේ අපිට
නෑ
කියලා
නෑ
දුන්නේ
දැන්
හැමදේම
මම
මතකේ නැහැ.
ඒගොල්ලෝ මට කතා කළා හැම ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ cloud එකේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ cloud එකේ මම හිතන්නේ මේක රෙකෝඩ් වෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලන් අනිවාර්යෙන්
ඔව්.
මේක මේ LMS එකට
නෑ
ඒවයි.
ඒකට ටෙක්නිකල් එරර් එකක් මොකක් හරි එරර් එකක් කියලා තමයි කිව්වේ. එහෙම වුණොත්
නෑ වෙන්නේ
මේ
නැති කලින් වෙන්නේ නැති මොකද දැන් ඒ කලින් අර මම ඇත්තට මගේ පොඩ්ඩක් මගේ මෙඩිකල් කන්ඩිෂන් හින්දා තමයි මේ කෝස් එක ඩිලේ වුනේ. එතකොට
ඔව්.
ඒ වීක්ස් වල ඒගොල්ලන් අර මම කලින් සෙෂන් එක මේ තමයි මේ මම හිතන්නේ මේ මගේ කලින්
ඔව්.
සෙෂන් වල රෙකෝඩ් එක තමයි
ඔව්.
මේ පාටිසිපන්ට්ලට එව්වේ. හැබැයි දැන් එතන
ඔව්.
මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණොත් දැන් ඒගොල්ලන් මේ කෙලින්ම cloud එකේ රෙකෝඩ් කරගන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලන් cloud එකේ රෙකෝඩ් කරගෙන මේකේ වයි. දැන් එහෙම ඉස්සරහට ගැටලු වෙන එකක් නැහැ.
අපට ඕන අර සර් මීට ඉස්සරින්ද කරන එකනේ අපට ඔය මේක අපේට ඕනම ටික තිබුණේ සර්. අන්න ඒක තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ
නෑ
එරර්
එහෙම
එකක්
මොකක්
කියලා
හරි
කිව්වේ
ප්‍රශ්නයක්
ටෙක්නිකල්.
තිබ්බනම් මම ආපහු ඒක මේ රෙකෝඩින් එක මේ ක්‍රවුන් කැම්පස් එකට දෙන්නම් ඒගොල්ලන් ඒක කතා කරලා එතකොට එතනින් ගත්ත හැකි.
සර්.
And we another yeah. A true person can prepare tax return for both has to update. ඔව් ඒ කියන්නේ ඇත්තටම මෙහෙමයි මේ එකම ඉන්ඩිවිජුවල්ට පුළුවන් ඔය SSID දෙකම යූස් කරන්න. දැන් මොකක් හරි A කියන එකම ඉන්ඩිවිජුවල් එයා අප්‍රූවර්ගේ එයා මුලින්ම මේ ප්‍රිපෙයාර්ගේ SSID එක යූස් කරලා ප්‍රිපෙයාර් විදියට රිටර්න් එක ප්‍රිපෙයාර් කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ එයා ප්‍රිපෙයාර්ගෙන් ලොග් අවුට් වෙලා A කියන පර්සන්ටම ආපහු අර මේ අප්‍රූවර්ගේ SSID එකෙන් ලොග් වෙලා එයාම ප්‍රිපෙයාර් කරපු එක සබ්මිට් කරන්න පුළුවන් IRD එකට. හැබැයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ කියන්නේ ෆිසිකලි එකම පර්සන් වුණාට එයා අවස්ථා දෙකකට ලොග් වෙන්න ඕනි. කියන්නේ මුලින්ම approve මුලින්ම prepare SSID එකෙන් ලොග් වෙන්න ඕනි. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි යා approve SSID එකෙන් ලොග් වෙන්න ඕනි. මිස් තිලකරත්නගේ මම හිතන්නේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තරේ ඒක තමයි. So if you do have any more questions, I think you can contact me. I don't, I can't remember whether I have given my contact details with you. Anyway, I will share it again. This is my contact details. You can contact me via this number. Sometimes I will not be able to answer to the phone during the office hours. So the best thing is I'm always very much active in the WhatsApp. If you can just put a WhatsApp message to me, I definitely reply. So I'm available in WhatsApp under this number. So in case you do have any issue with the tax return filing, you may contact me through this number. So at the moment, if you don't have any more questions, we can wind up for the session today. And we can have the next session on coming Wednesday. Refers to the APID return filing and the withholding schedule filing. And thank you very much for the active participation today. So let's have another effective session on coming Wednesday up to 10. Thank you very much and good night for all of you. Thank you.